Hey everyone, it's Corinne with Connecting with Corinne. Happy spring. I am offering a spring themed yoga class today, full of twists, groundingness, a little bit of balancing, and just opening ourselves up, our hearts, a little bit of our hips as well. But there's going to be lots of twisting in this class today. Spring is a transition. We go from winter, where it's dark and cold and everything is hibernating, and spring opens up new things, new beginnings, new life. So we're kind of shedding our winter coats, opening up to spring. There's so many different tips I have. You can follow my blog. I'll have a couple tips about how to get a little bit more into the spring feelings and just getting back into nature, eating better foods or just different foods, and eating with the seasons. And I thought I would start the class off. Usually I end the class off with a daily meditation, especially when I teach in person and live. But I read from this book. It's called Journey to the Heart by Melody Beattie. It's daily meditations on the path to freeing our soul. And this meditation I found for spring I thought was really fitting. Its change is in the air. Just as the world around us changes and evolves, so do the circumstances and situation in our lives. We live in a universe that is alive, vibrant, and constantly evolving. Changing is the way nature, the universe, and the divine move us through each period of our lives and into destiny. We are led to our next lesson, our next adventure. There's no need to deny change, to fear it, or fight against it. Change is inevitable. Just as the earth is constant motion and transformation, so are we. Excuse me. Take your place in the universal dance, the universal rhythm. Allow change to happen. Work with it as your life unfolds. Sometimes change comes in one smashing moment, like a volcanic eruption. Other times it happens more slowly, the way the winds and rain sculpts bridge out of canyons. Learn to trust your body, its signs, signals, warning, and excited proclamations. We let the gathered clouds warn us of impending storms, and we learn to study and predict tremors in the earth. In much the same way, our body can function as a barometer for our soul and its place in the constant changing and evolving universe. You are open now, more sensitive than you've been before. Change is coming, it's here. You can feel it in the air, you can feel it in yourself. Thank your body for helping you. Thank the universe for what it is about to do. Then thank God, because change will bring you closer to love. All right, let's begin the class and let's come to our mats. So let's just get grounded first. And we'll actually stand in a comfortable position, about feet hip width apart. I've got my socks on still. You can have your socks on. You can take your socks off, whatever feels comfortable for you. And just bring your hands in namaskar, bending the knees just ever so slightly. And you can close your eyes and let's just take a few deep breaths here. In through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Allowing us to get a little bit more grounded. Take a couple more breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. And then when you're ready, you can just let your hands drop, dropping down by your side, Tadasana, mountain pose. Allowing your feet to push into the floor. Two more breaths here. And we can open our eyes. Let's do just a couple sun salutations, reaching your arms up overhead. We'll do some half. And in spring, the sun comes out a little bit more. It feels a little warmer as the days get longer. Reaching up overhead, palms together. Stretching up out of our waist, and then exhale, folding all the way down. So hinging at the hips, coming all the way down. Then we come up halfway. Half left, roll the shoulders back. We want a long spine here. What happens is we tend to round the spine. So we want to roll the shoulders back, squeezing the shoulder blades together, allowing the chest to come through. You can place your hands on your thighs. And then from here, hinging at the hips, letting the head hang heavy. You can nod the head yes, shake the head no. You can let the hands dangle. You can grab opposite hands to opposite elbows to make a little box. Just fold forward. If you like, you can reach behind your legs to grab your calves. Feeling the stretch of the hamstrings and calves here. One more breath. Bend the knees, ground the feet into the floor, so push the feet into the floor. Belly pulls in, inhale, reaching up all the way around. And then exhale, hands come to heart center. Reach your arms up overhead. Belly pulls in, we dive down. Coming up halfway. And then folding forward. And I'll turn the side so you can see. Reaching again behind your calves or letting the hands dangle, or you can place your hands underneath your feet, or you can, if you have your toe socks off, you can take your pointer middle fingers, reach around the big toes, grab the toes. Wherever we are, weights in the toes. Feel the stretch in the hamstrings and calves here. Maybe you start to feel a little bit of lengthening in the spine as we hinge forward. Bringing the chest a little closer to the legs, whatever that looks like for you today. One more breath. Bend the knees, belly pulls in, inhale, reaching up all the way around. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Let's do a couple low lunges. Inhale, reaching arms up overhead. We dive down. Coming up halfway. And then folding forward. Hands on either side of our feet. You can step one leg back. It can be the right or left. It doesn't matter. Dropping the knee down to the floor. Making sure you can see your toes over your front knee. Hands can come to the thigh. Back toes can be curled or flat on the floor. You have those choices. Option 1, you can stay here. Option 2, palms face each other as we reach up towards the sky. Feeling the stretch in the right hip. You might start to feel a stretch in the right side body. In this case, it's the right side body. If your left leg is forward, you'll feel it on the left side. You can either look forward or up towards the sky. If you look up towards the sky past your hands, you start to feel a lengthening or stretching from the belly button up along the chest and then down as well towards the belly. One more breath here, dropping the hands down to the ground. Let's curl the back toe, lift the back knee coming up into a high runner's lunge. Planting the right hand on the floor and then left hand on the low spine. Rolling the left shoulder and you can look up towards the sky. I'm just going to turn around so you can see this. So, back toe is lifted. Hand on the thigh, and we turn. And then option 1, you can stay here. Option 2, the hand reaches up towards the sky. If your left leg is behind, this will be the opposite. So left hand can be on the ground. Right hand can be reached up. So the twist. If you feel like you need to, you can always drop your back knee down. You have that option. And then let's see if we can come up. So even if we have our back knee down, see if we can lift the back knee and then see if we can just kind of come up for a little bit more of a twist. Ooh. One more breath here. We can reach our arms up overhead. And then exhale, bringing the hands back down to the floor. We step back. And I'm going to turn around so you can see this on the other side. So we step back, we come into kind of a down dog. Let's come forward. You can drop your knees down for plank, or you can stay high for high plank. So high or modified plank, your choice. And we lower down with control. All the way down. Tops of the feet on the floor, hands underneath the shoulders. Roll the shoulders back, coming up into a small cobra. Baby cobra. So, in cobra, we squeeze the glutes. This protects our spine. The kneecaps lift off the floor, tops of the feet are on the floor. Legs are engaged, glutes are engaged. Okay? This is important. With the spine, or with our chest, imagine we have a piece of string kind of on our sternum. So it's pulling us out. So as we roll the shoulders back, we're pulling the chest out and then we lift up, if that makes sense. So it's like we roll the shoulders back so the chest sticks out and then up. Less compression in the spine that way. And we're engaging the muscles. We should feel this into the mid to low back. One more breath. Lower down. Curl the toes. And we push up into a modified or high plank, your choice. And pushing back into puppy, dolphin, or down dog. You have those choices. We'll go into the other leg. So whatever leg was back, we lift that leg up. So for example, my right leg was back, so this time I'm lifting my right leg up and swinging my right leg through and planting my left leg down to the floor. Making sure I can see my toes over my front knee, hands come to the thigh. Option 1, you can stay here. Option 2, palms face each other, reach up towards the sky. You can look forward or up towards the sky, past your hands, your choice. Feeling a stretch this time in the left hip or in the other leg. So if your left leg was forward the first time, now you're going to feel this in the right hip. So it's just opposite if you went the other way. One more breath here. And if you look up past your hands, you start to feel the stretch in the stomach again from the belly button up into the chest and along the sternum or down towards the belly. One more breath. Bringing the hands down to the ground. Option 1, keeping the back knee on the floor, placing the left hand this time by your right foot, right hand on the low spine for the twist. Or, like we did in the last one, curl the toes, lift the back knee, kind of a higher lunge. And reach up toward the sky. Feeling that twist. You might feel this in the shoulders. I feel this kind of in my glute. So I feel it here in my hip and my leg and my glutes. I also do feel it in my shoulder, my right shoulder. I know I'm twisting my spine here. You might also feel it elsewhere, and that's okay. Just notice where you're feeling the stretch. One more breath here. And then see if we can come up. So if your back knee is down, see if we can lift that back knee up. And then see if we can just kind of come up for a little bit more backwards. So pushing up the hand. This works our balance. A bit more of a twist here. One more breath. Good. We'll come up to center. One breath. Exhale, bringing the hands down to the ground. And we step back into, you can come into push back into a bit of a down dog. And then we come forward into a plank or modified. I'll drop down to my knees for modified. Squeeze those glutes. If you're in plank, squeeze those glutes. And lower down. Option 1, you can do a little chaturanga or even modified. So chaturanga is low plank. So you just lower down, hold it here, and then come all the way down to the ground. Tops of the feet on the floor, glutes are squeezed, kneecaps lift up, hands underneath the shoulders, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. See if we can come up a little higher. So again, the chest pulls out and then up. Squeezing the arms close to the body, elbows drop back towards the hips. One more breath here. And then exhale, lowering down, curl the toes. Push up into a modified or high plank, your choice. And then pushing back into puppy, dolphin, or down dog. Look between our hands. Slowly jump our feet to our hands or walk our feet to our hands, coming to the top of our mats. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaching up all the way around. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Good, we'll do a couple balancing poses here. So the first one we're going to do is dancer's pose. And this opens up our shoulders. This one opens up our spine a little bit more. We've warmed up our spine a bit. We can do this one. So I'll kind of go to at an angle so you can see this. We'll start with our right leg. Before we even begin, let's just make sure that our feet are grounded. So what I mean by that is imagine you've got points between your big toe, your small toe, and then your two on either side of your heel. And you push those 4 points into the floor. As we push the 4 points into the floor, our glutes squeeze, belly pulls in. This engages our core. So we have a nice feeling grounded, feeling balanced. Then from here, we place our right hand out like we're holding a tray, and we bend the right foot, the right leg. Okay, you want knees together here, so our knees are together. And we just reach, and we're going to reach on the inside of our foot. So what does that look like? I'll come close so you can see. Foot is bent. This is the inside, this is the outside. So we're reaching on the inside here. So my hand is out, foot is on the inside, and where I'm grabbing my foot is kind of where our shoelaces would be. So our shoelaces would be here. And here's a little tidbit. I like to find my middle finger to reach actually kind of this notch. And our notch is, I don't know if you can see that, right here. So it's like a small little bit, a little light, of our ankle bone. So it's kind of where our ankle bone is between our foot and our ankle. So ankle bone. So that's where I keep my middle finger, and then the rest of my fingers all kind of reach for the top of my shoelaces. Some people like to reach more back here, and that's fine. I kind of reach more for the top. Right, so this opens up our hip. So I'll come back, and for some people, this may be your pose for today. It opens up the shoulder, and then the left arm reaches up towards the sky. From here, we kick back and up. So actually what I want you to do is to kick the quad back as far back as it can go. So it just goes back as the right hip comes down. And then what's going to happen is our leg is going to just want to come up. And as we let the leg come up, the shoulder follows. And you can lift the chest up and chin up. Nose can come up towards the sky as we kick back and up. And we're going to get to a sweet spot where we'll want to hinge forward. And as we hinge forward, chin comes to the shoulder, looking down the middle of our fingers as we kick up and back. And we'll get to a point where we can hold it, where we feel the stretch in the standing leg, stretch in the back leg, stretching in the arms. If you fall out, that's okay, just kick hard. And then we slowly come back. Up and lower, down. Good. Let's do the other side. I'll kind of go at an angle. You don't have to be at an angle, just so you can see. Other side. Left arm comes out. Left knee bends, reaching for the inside of that left foot. Right hand reaches up. Now, lift the chest. And by lifting the chest, it just means stretch out of the waist. Right arm is up this time. You can look up towards the sky. Bring the nose up a little bit more. And then from here, we kick back, and then up. And as we kick back and up, we can forward. And if we fall out, that's okay. One side might be a bit more wibbly wobbly than the other. It's hard at an angle for me, so I'll try forward. Kick back, kick up. And for sometimes when we practice, we might not be able to balance. We're looking down the middle finger, feeling a stretch in the standing leg. As the back leg kicks backing up. And the toes will eventually come over your head. You want them to pop up through the middle of your head. One more breath. And then come back. And lower down. So why do we do that one? Opens up the shoulders, it opens up our chest, opens up the whole meridian lines in the middle of our body. All right, let's do one more balancing pose. Tree. Because it's spring, the trees are budding, and we're little trees as well. So planting the left leg. Option 1, toes on the floor, heel above the ankle. Option 2, foot on the inner calf, below the knee. Option 3, you can go on the inside of the thigh, pushing the foot into the inner thigh. Foot is above the knee, hands come to heart center. No scar, you can stay here. Option 2, you can reach your arms up overhead. You can release the hands if you like. If you want, you can wave your hands in the air. And at any time, you can close your eyes, and this will challenge your balance. Hold still wherever we are. Exhale, hands come back to heart center. Take a breath. See if we can hold it here. Holding it here for one more breath. And then release. You can wiggle out your feet if they feel pressure. Pushing the right foot into the floor, glute is squeezed. Left toes can be on the floor, above the ankle, on the inner calf, below the knee, or on the inner thigh, above the knee, hands to heart center. Belly pulls in. Let's reach our arms up overhead. Stay here. Arms apart, reaching up. If you want, you can close your eyes. If you want, you can wave your hands side to side like little tree branches waving in the wind. Take a couple breaths here. If you wibble wobble, that's okay, it's only yoga. One more breath. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Holding it here. Couple breaths. And then when you're ready, we'll lower down. Good. Let's come back to top of our mat. Inhale, reaching arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward. Coming up halfway. And folding forward. Hands on either side of our feet. Let's step back. Coming into a plank pose. And if you're in modified or high plank, you can drop down to your knees for modified. Either way, we squeeze the glutes. Let's hold it here just for a breath. Modified or high. This works the core. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can bend the knees. Maybe let them hover down to the floor. Maybe then lift the knees up a little bit. Drop the knees one more time. Let them hover. come up. You can do one knee at a time if you like. It's a little harder. One more breath. And then let's slowly lower down, all the way down to the floor. Tops of the feet on the floor, hands underneath the shoulders. Let's bring the forearms forward, coming into a Sphinx pose. So again, glutes are squeezed, kneecaps are lifted, tops of the feet are on the floor. Roll the shoulders back and we'll feel that stretch from the hips up along the belly into the chest. And you can take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Even for if you want a little bit more of a cleansing, which is what spring can kind of be, like kind of a cleaning or cleanse. You can stick your tongue out. You can look up towards the sky. That's called lion's breath. One more breath. And it's like those Chinese lions that stick their tongues out and they look up. That's what we're trying to be here. Sticking the tongue out and looking up. One more. If you want, you don't have to. And then exhale, lower down to the floor. Hands underneath the shoulders. Let's curl the toes, push up into a modified or a high plank, your choice. And then pushing back, opening up the knees nice and wide for child's pose. So hips on heels, arms out in front of us, head drops down to the mat. Feeling a stretch in the spine, stretch in the hips. You can have your knees open as wide as you like in child's pose. You can go narrow child's pose. One more breath here. And then we'll come back up to seated. Let's swing our legs around. And let's do a little seated twist here. So the legs can come out. Whichever leg, it can be left or right. One leg stays in, the other leg comes in close to you. So in this case, this is my right leg that's coming in close to me, but you can do the other leg. Now option 1, you can stay here. Option 2, the leg that is close to you can lift up and cross over the straight leg. And we're gonna reach the opposite hand. So in this case, my left hand is gonna reach up and cross over. And I like to hug, because I don't really like to cross over. So I like to hug my elbow into my knee. I place my opposite hand, my right hand, behind me, planting it on the floor. I lift my chest up and I look over my right shoulder for the twist. You can also have this elbow out. You can also push just for the twist a little bit more, but I like to hug and then twist. So we're lifting the chest as we look over the shoulder. And then we come back to center. And we can just twist the other way, so just placing the other hand behind us. And the opposite hand, I just push my elbow into my shin and I just grab my foot, reaching the chest up, so lifting the chest up and then looking behind us. So lift the chest and then look behind you and see how far you can look behind you. Coming back to center. Let's uncross the leg and we'll go the other side. So option 1, again, you can bend, keep one leg straight, bend the knee in, and this could be your pose. And you're still doing the same thing with the arms. Option 2, leg lifts up and crosses over the other leg. We lift the chest. This time my left hand is behind me, right hand reaches up and crosses over. And again, I like to hug my knee in to my elbow crease, lifting my chest up and then looking over. But you can always have your hand, your elbow out. You may feel this also in the shoulders. I sometimes feel this in the shoulders and in the glute. then we come back to center. And we'll twist the other side. So this time right hand goes behind me. Left hand reaches around. Again, this time this arm, left arm pushes, the elbow pushes more into my calf and my hand goes to the front. Lift the chest up, turn, look over my right shoulder. Little counter twist. And then we come back to center. Keeping the legs straight. Let's lie on our backs. 2 more poses. Wind relieving pose. Again, this one is great for cleansing out our belly, our colon, our digestive system. So, bringing one leg into your chest, and let's do the right leg. So, keeping the left leg straight, everyone bringing the right leg into your chest. And I want you to interlace your fingers and reaching over so you're grabbing onto your shin. So you're interlacing your fingers and your palms are on your shin below your knee. Bending the elbows in, roll the shoulders back so the shoulders are on the floor, chin gets tucked, and we bring the knee, right knee to right shoulder. So what we're doing here is belly pulls in, so we're pushing the belly into we're pushing our back into the floor, so you can't, if you even like let go of one hand and you try to get your left hand underneath your back, you won't be able to because it's squeezing down. That's the goal here. Belly pulls in, back squeezes down, shoulders push into the floor as we bring our knee in close to our shoulder. So chin is tucked, looking down the midline as we bring the right knee to shoulder. So what we're working here is our ascending colon. So that's the whole right side of our large and small intestine, all our internal organs that are on our right side, getting massaged here. So what we're doing here is we're cutting off the circulation. We're also stretching that right hip out a little bit. One more breath here. And really use the biceps to pull that knee in. And then exhale, releasing that leg. And as soon as you release that leg, you feel the release. There might be some tingling sensations, and then the blood is just going to go back into that side. Keeping the right leg straight, we're going to bend the left knee. Again, interlacing the fingers, reaching around so that the palms are just kind of cupping the shin bone below the knee. Roll the shoulders back, chin is tucked. So we're tucking the chin to the chest as much as we can. And then the left knee comes to the left shoulder. So I bend my elbows and then I use my biceps to pull. As my shoulders push into the floor, my back pushes into the floor, belly pulls in here. So my belly pulls in, back is flat into the floor. I can't get my hand underneath that small of my back because it's pushing into the floor here. This works the abs as well by pushing in. You're engaging your abs. Chin is tucked, left shoulder, or left knee pushes towards the left shoulder. So the left knee doesn't touch the shoulder, it just goes towards the shoulder. Feeling that you might feel a little bit of a pinch in that hip crease, and that's fine. This time we're working the descending side, so the left side. Small intestine, large intestine on the left side. The organs on the left side of our body. Chin is tucked, we're looking down the midline of our body. One more breath here. And then we release. Good. And once you release, you just feel that relief of the hip letting go and all the fresh blood going into the left side of our body. Now we're going to do the midline. So this is the transverse colon. So this is the middle part. We're going to bring both knees up. If you can, maybe you can interlace the hands. Maybe it's just really just pulling on the hands onto both shins. Rolling the shoulders back, bending the elbows. Some people are able to even cross the elbows, but I find my shoulders lift up here. So what I do is I roll my shoulders back. Belly pulls in, okay? The flat of my back, that small of my back is pushed into the mat. That's important. My shoulders roll back, and then I just grab my shins with both hands. So one hand on one shin, the other hand on the other. So rolling the shoulders back, and I bring my knees into my chest. Chin is tucked, looking down the midline of my knees. So this is the midline of our belly. So the middle part of our small and large intestine and our stomach and bladder. One more breath here. See if you can push it a little bit more in. And then exhale, we release. Arms can be down by your side. And I said last pose, that was our second last pose. Our last pose is one more twist, supine twist. So arms can be out like airplane wings. You can place your feet on the floor, bending the knees. You can move your hips side to side. And then you can just drop your knees over to one side and look over the opposite shoulder. So it can be right or left. One last twist realigns the nervous system. Supine twist is great. If you find you have a little bit of sciatica in your spine, if you bring your knees up a little bit closer or lower, that feels good. Option 2 is you can keep one leg straight, so the bottom leg can be straight as the top knee goes over. And as the top knee goes over, if you need to support it, you can take the one hand that's on that side of where the knee's going, and you can hold it. Alternatively, you can cross the bottom leg over the top, and this time that hand can then support the bottom leg. This one you might feel a little bit more in the hip and glute as well. So just notice how that feels in the body. Coming back to center, we uncross or just move to the other side. So again, two knees together to one side. Bottom leg can be straight, knee can be bent, top knee can be bent, or you can cross bottom leg over the top and then bring the bottom leg forward. Lots of different ways. You can explore this. See how it feels. We're looking over the opposite shoulder. And then we'll come back to center. And then just straighten the legs. Arms are down by our side. Deep breath in, deep breath out for Shavasana. You can close your eyes here. Taking a couple breaths. Just allowing yourself to relax. You can stay in Shavasana as long as you like. Let's be here for 5 more breaths. You can wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, reach your arms up overhead. Give yourself a stretch or bring your knees into your chest to give yourself a hug, and you have options. You can roll up to seated or you can roll to one side. Just bring your hands together. The highest in me is the highest in you. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful spring. Namaste. Thanks for joining me. Bye, everyone.